Okay?
Okay, first of all, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome everybody here that came to this minyan. I probably was informed that this is probably the largest minyan that we had here, Baruch Hashem. And I tell you, I can go back. I have an album someplace of pictures, and I probably will get through and find about maybe 2 or 3 pictures that took place also at the davening here. So this is not the first time this, I don't count. I think I don't count because I want to give it an eye and Mirz Hashem, I hope we'll have the opportunity to meet again, Mirz Hashem, next year. And maybe even a larger group, I think we can accommodate here everybody. And it is I want to thank everybody here for coming. And especially I want to thank for fathers that brought their children with them to this minyan. This is a haskola for them. It's part of the chinuch, and it was a wonderful thing to see also children, young children here. I was asked to say a few words about, my son asked me to say a few words about film that I've experienced in the concentration camps. But Rabbi Fliegelman also asked me to mention something about, I mentioned the past already, that Baruch Hashem, we had these minyanim before, and I will have to go through my album and find all those pictures, which are similar. But this is probably the biggest group, and I say the picture came out okay. So everybody should have one. Everybody should have one. I don't want to keep you very long. I just would like to mention one thing. First of all, as far as the film are concerned, my son asked me to mention something about the film. You have to realize that when we were in the concentration camp, we had nothing, no hefts of any value. We didn't have any watches, we didn't have any pencils, we didn't have any pens, we didn't have any paper, and we didn't have any hefts that will tell somebody this is has kedusha in it. So basically, I will tell you during the period of time when everybody was involved in one thing only, and this is how to survive another chodesh, how to survive another week, or how to survive another day. We were all only trying to fight one thing, to fight hunger. The pains of hunger this is a terrible thing, to fight this. So suddenly a shemiyah or a hearing came about. Somebody found there was a group that was unloading cement bags from a freight train, and they found a shariat among the cement bags. Cement bags were of course 50 kilo cement bags each, and they found the shariat. This was a torn shariat, but the parshias were still in it. Parshias were good. And everybody was wonderful. They gave us a little, it lifted us up that something like this, Ador Kedusha, was found. But my friends, this was found at the time at the outside of the camp where we were working. To bring this into the camp was involved with a lot of dangerous stuff. Why? Because every time we came back from work, most of the time they lined us up and were searching us. Maybe somebody brought in something which he shouldn't have. That always was constant. So if they would find on somebody that shaliat, it would not be a very good thing for us. So consequently, nobody wanted to find out who is responsible for it, or what will happen to it. And we forgot about it. We forgot about it, of course, till the time of liberation. Why did this particular shayat play such an important part in the time of liberation? Because at the time of liberation, once we were already satisfied with our hunger pains, how were we satisfied with the hunger pains? The Americans liberated us. And they eventually told us, we were yelling, food. That was the most important thing. this is all it was on our minds. And everybody, I was part of a group of about 7 boys my age, who we always kept together. We always gave chizuk to each other. In mornings we washed each other sometimes with cold water and so forth. So obviously we were all standing around and waiting to satisfy our hunger pains. And the Americans put up a field kitchen, an army field kitchen that they brought in to the camp. And they started cooking some bacon with rice and so on. And even just the smell I couldn't take made me sick. And prisoners, it's not only Jewish prisoners were in our camp. There were hundreds and hundreds of other nationalities like Russians and from France and from different countries, and gypsies. They were all also prisoners in these camps. So they lined up in front of this field kitchen to immediately get. Everybody was carrying a little plate, a little bowl, or a little can where they would be getting that portion and so forth. So prisoners started eating, and I see with my friends. I says, I'm ready and you are ready. We're all ready to sell our lives for a loaf of bread. But I for some reason or other, something tells me that we cannot take part in this. Something is wrong here. What was wrong? You looked around, and as prisoners were gobbling up that concussion that they received from that field kitchen, suddenly they dropped dead. Many, I would say 1 or 10, 12, I don't know, hundreds maybe. Why? Because they started gobbling this up and putting it in their system, which was so strong, and it expanded in the system, the digestive system, and the digestive system of many of the prisoners couldn't take that type of food, and it harmed them. So basically I looked around and I said to my friends, we are all ready to sell our lives for something, but maybe we'll find something else that will satisfy our hunger. After all, we are all liberated already. So I looked around and I said, there's that line in front of course, the Americans eventually realized very quickly that something is wrong here. And they stopped this whole kitchen. They started distributing that food also to the others. And then they finally brought in, just to let you know, they brought in another field kitchen. But this time they started to distribute powdered milk with oatmeal and farina, and this is the digestive system could tolerate that. So consequently, I looked around with my friends and I said, maybe we'll find something. Well, after liberated, let's go and look maybe in the barracks of the German army that left. Maybe they left some food. And I look around, and in the long distance I see a big line standing, and I said, there's a big line over there. I don't know what they're giving away over there, but it doesn't seem to be there's a field kitchen over there. Maybe something else. Let's see. Let's approach that line. It was about maybe a long distance away, maybe, I don't know, 1,000 yards or so, I don't know. But finally, they listened to me, and we started walking towards that line. And eventually, as they came closer and closer, I said, hey, this is, all my friends are standing in the line. The ones that were sleeping on my bunk and so forth. Why are they doing that? And as we came closer and closer, we saw that Rabbi Sheila Grunwald, the Chisturu, was standing with a torn and tattered chalyat in front of him. And there was a line of I don't know how big a line of these prisoners that were just liberated like us. And everybody was approaching towards him, towards the chalyat. And my turn came, and I broke down crying, and I took the chalyat. I took chalyat and held it close to the heart and made a brocha, Loneach al mitzvah still. And I said to myself, it's amazing. This is the last thing that I gave up. When I had to be undressed, and take out off all my clothing. The last thing that I put on is my tefillin, which I was holding in my bosom, in my shirt. And I said to him, my father, I said, the Rebbeinu Shloim will forgive me that I cannot hold on to this tefillin anymore. Anyhow, this is the first mitzvah that came to our hands, and the first mitzvah for us to be Mekayim after liberation. So, and just to end and tell you, my friends, in my humble opinion, I consider liberation a time of Matan Torah, parallel to Matan Torah. Why? Because at Matan Torah there were all kinds of groups. There were people who says, we will accept Torah Shebiksav, but we will not accept Torah Shebal Peh. And this also, as we were standing there liberated from many different countries and from many different cities and villages, and finally, as I said, our hunger was stilled, and now we started taking Adin Cheshem Makar. What happened here? Where's my brother? Where's my sister? Where's my father? Where's my wife? And so forth. Everybody started asking these questions, but you couldn't get any answers. Why? Because there was no telephones. There was no communication. There was nothing. Everything was torn down. Everything was destroyed. And so we had to all think only in one direction. We have to go back home. In order for me to find out if anybody from my family survived, if anybody from my family came home, we have to return home to our Masorah, that was originally taught us by our teachers, by our mechanchim, by our parents. As they were babies who were, the mother said to them, when they were still in little babies and so forth. This is part of the Masorah that was given to us. And also we had, Baruch Hashem, later on became a shaliach like the Klosenberger Rebbe, Schisa Yigolani, and also the Roof from Cincinnati, Rav Silver, and many other shalichim. And they made it clear to us, brothers and sisters, if we have to survive, and we have to go back and amount to some people, to some nation, build our future again, then we have to go back to our original place and to original Masorah. I mean, as I said, there were some also, why do I compare it? There were some prisoners who said, okay, Cholila less than less dying. There's no Rebbeinu Shloim. Rebbeinu Shloim couldn't be somebody who witnessed that.
People gave up hope.
Right. There are other group of people who says, I will be a good Jew. I will honor my parents, and I will not kill. Everything, I'll be a good Jew, but I don't need all those little mitzvahs that the Rabbonim are going to be giving us, the Torah Shebal Peh. And of course, they made it clear that they says, Rabbi said, we will not survive unless we accept both Torah Shebiksav and Torah Shebal Peh.
So, Mr. Starck, the message moving forward from the year 2025 right now.
Right.
What's your message to the fathers and to the boys of Ida Crown Jewish Academy? What is it that they have to take on now?
Well, these are generations from survivors. I'm sure that as you will dig into your past, many of you came from have grandchildren, grandfathers, and so forth, who survived also these camps. My message is, first of all, that I think that these generations, these future generations which you are going to, Yirz Hashem, going to bring up, you are going to have, because I'm saying there are so many people here, Baruch Hashem, with children, and this is their generations, but you are still young men and getting your education now, which is so important of what you are getting now from your sources, from your mechanchim, especially like Rabbi Fliegelman was a good example and so forth. So this is so important to you. And I urge you to remember Zechor, remember my Usul Chuamulai. Remember also, well, I mean, we are saying, we just had it in the Sedra last week. We are saying it every Purim, Zechor Maser Usul Chuamulai. I think it's a mitzvah to remember B'chol Yoim, my Usul Chuamulai. So I would say that what is important for you, Mir Hashem, is to see that you get the education, whether it's in this yeshiva or whether it's in any other yeshiva, whether it's in Eretz Yisrael. I think today, I have to mention that today, Baruch Hashem, but we have all these Moises HaTorah all over the world, in Chicago and in South Bend and in Milwaukee, and also in Israel and in Europe, all these yeshivas. This is Moises HaTorah, all because when we were the Sheiras HaPleita, I call the people who were standing liberated the Sheiras HaPleita. Right. When the Sheiras HaPleita was standing, and they said again, just like they said in Purim, they said that Kimu v'kiblu mashe kiblu kvar. This is what we say in Purim. In Purim time, there was a re-acceptance, a reconfirmation of the Torah Sheb'Ksaf and Torah Sheb'al Peh, and people accepted it. And again, at the time of liberation, the Sheiras HaPleita was standing. Again, there was a reconfirmation, and we all agreed that in order for us to survive, in order for us, generations, the future should be something that would be something that we be very happy with their chinuch and so on. That we have to again say, like we said in Purim, that the kimu mashe kimu kwa.
Thank
you so much.
And we should be zocher again next year, Nachamo, but in Eretz Yisrael. In Eretz Yisrael.
Well, if not
on 2820.
Hopefully it'll be open. Yeah.
If it's the same way, we're gonna have to do a little expansion, I think. Embracing is Shekayach.
Okay.
Gentlemen, come over and give
My
Shalom.
friends,
Oh, we have
this.